agriculture for all ministries, departments, agencies under its purview. I wish also to express my sincere appreciation to all our respected participants who have traveled from far and near to honor our invitation despite their tight schedules. I want to appreciate you once again. I'm really so happy you have made my day, and I think I'll be outstanding among the commissioners here because of that. Permit me to welcome the Honorable Minister of Agric, who is here to come. It is also my pleasure to welcome the Executive Chairman, Federal Character Commission. Do you know why I'm special? Yes. Because for the past 3 workshops or 4 that has been on in the Federal Character Commission, the chairman is always sending a representative, but today my chairman is here. That is why. My chairman, I want to appreciate you for coming, and I promise to be loyal, and I will continue to be loyal. This body, established by architects, character principles of equity, fairness in the distribution of public, both socio-economic amenities and infrastructural facilities among the federating units of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Since its inception, the Commission has been working so hard to actualize this mandate of equitable distribution of public posts. However, it is not an overstatement to say that the Commission will not only fulfill its constitutional mandate through network and partnership, but other fees that will make this Commission to be recognized in among the commissions of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It becomes imperative that all stakeholders should partner with the Commission to actualize this vision, and that is why we are here today to really tell you all that the federal character is all about, so that we will surely reduce the marginalization cry that we have in this country. We will never do away with it for just one day, but from step to step, we will get there one day. And this issue of insecurity that we have in the country will be surely reduced. You know why this is so? Because many of our youth are roaming the streets over there, doing nothing. And at the end of the day, what do? Let us go into this ill world and begin to fight our people, and we hear cries. I think when the chief executives do the right thing, I think most of these children will be carried along, and we will laugh at the end of the tunnel. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst today qualified resource persons who are ready and prepared to steer the decision, and will also be on hand to check on your questions on any gray areas you may need clarifications. In conclusion, distinguished guests, I have the singular honor and privilege of once again welcoming you to this workshop. Do have a fruitful deliberation, and thank you for listening. I want to thank the planning committee led by the Affordable Commissioner who has made this possible, the secretary, the assistant secretary, and all those who are involved in this planning. I want to say thank you and happy listening.
Thank you very much. Not the quantity. And the emphasis is now shifting from oil to agriculture. So I can understand why I have this high caliber representation. You're welcome, sir. His presence here is
on this occasion. I'm here not by some stroke of luck, but also by design. The stroke of luck in the sense that I was built to be out of this place today. I found myself here because I would have wished that I hadn't had any opportunity to miss this occasion. I'm pleased and happy, and I rejoice with the Chairman of the Agricultural Committee because of the caliber and quality of attendance at this workshop. this were an event to showcase new technologies in agriculture, I don't think we would have had any higher quality attendance. So I think it's a measure of how much the persons who run the agriculture sector are willing to partner with the Federal Agriculture Commission in the pursuit and the fulfillment of the constitutional provision of the Federal Character Principle in the area of distribution of employment. So I welcome you all to this occasion and do wish that you have a very exciting and productive workshop. I'm particularly pleased at your response to our invitation and your willingness to be present at this occasion despite your tight schedules. The Committee on Agriculture is one of the 20 operational committees of the Commission charged with the responsibility of monitoring and enforcing the Federal Character Principle and of equity, fairness, and justice in the distribution of posts in the ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government. Ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Character Principle has often been misunderstood in some areas, seen as promoting legitimacy over merit. This has the effect resulting in pockets of resistance, often experienced by the Commission in the fulfillment of its constitutional mandate. However, this occasion provides an opportunity for constructive deliberations by this learned audience, which I firmly believe will broaden public understanding on the application of the Federal Character Principle. May I state at this juncture that the Federal Character Commission is one of 14 independent federal bodies established by Section 1531 of the 1999 Constitution. However, its existence predates that Constitution by 3 years, having been set up by the Federal Character Establishment Decree number 34 of 1996. This act was the direct result of the recommendations of the 1994-95 Constitutional Conference. The Commission was established to give effect to the Section 14-43 of the Constitution, which provides as follows: that the composition of the government of the Federation or any of its agencies and the conduct of its affairs shall be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote national unity and also promote national loyalty, thereby ensuring that there shall be no preponderance of persons from a few states or from a few ethnic or other sexual groups in the government of any of its agencies. In effect, ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Character Commission is charged with the ensuring fairness, equity, justice to all political constituents and units of the Federation in matters of employment, provision of infrastructural facilities, and socio-economic amenities. The purpose of this workshop, therefore, is to create a forum where stakeholders can brainstorm constructively with a view to highlighting and critically examining some of the challenges encountered by ministries, departments, and agencies in the implementation of the Federal Character Principle. It is my sincere belief, ladies and gentlemen, that at the end of this workshop, every participant will leave better informed on what the Federal Character Commission is and also convinced on the need to synergize with the Commission for the attainment of these noble goals. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to thank the Chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, distinguished Senator Dahir Awesokuta, the Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Federal Character and Others, Honorable Idris Ahmed, the chief executives of agencies that have taken out their time to honor our invitation in the hope that we shall gain more from their experience than they are likely to gain from our own explanations. In conclusion, I congratulate the organizers of this workshop and hope that the lessons of today will be indelible in our minds. Finally, I say thank you to everyone present today. Thank you for partnering with the Commission in building a nation that we can all be proud of. Thank you very much.
Permit me now to invite the Senate Committee Chairman of Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, a committee, very sensitive committee in Nigeria in the National Assembly. Federal Character is not given to any senator. I think it's given to ranking senators. It's a ranking senator. It's like coming to an organization. Directors of human resources are the highly experienced ones. You don't give the newly promoted and someone to director to handle human resources. It's just like Federal Character Principle National Assembly. It's given to the men of integrity. So it's not by chance that he's placed there. Permit me to invite very distinguished Senator, Comrade Dahiru Awaisu Kuta, for his goodwill message and the official declaration of the workshop open.
It has been popular with us to know exactly why we require federal character principle. It is as a result of cry of political and economic marginalization that we are all here. But very importantly is the fact that many of our parastatals, MDAs, are not aware of this provision in the Constitution. Many of our parastatals in this country are not aware of this provision in the country. And I think that is one of the reasons why we have a lot of resistance here and there. But just like the chairman says, Federal Character Commission and the principles do not compromise standards. You are only appointed to a particular position because of fairness, but you must be qualified. So those who feel that we are promoting mediocrity have got it wrong. And I think this is the right audience for us now to know exactly what federal character principle is all about. People are getting frustrated, putting in their best, but because they don't belong to a particular geopolitical zone, they are not recognized. People are trying to put in their best, but because they don't belong to the relation of the minister or the senator, they are not recognized. All these are things we want to put behind us to ensure that there is fairness, equitable distribution, not equal distribution, equitable distribution of appointments What the chairman has not actually intimated you, however, is the fact that the commission has a second mandate, and that is even in the distribution of social amenities in the geopolitical zone, the commission has the right to go around and find out how many roads have been constructed in a particular political zone and how many in other zones, so that there is fairness. So they have a very big task before them, and the only thing they have not been able to do is that they have not been able to bite the way we would have loved the way we would have loved them to bite. Maybe because of a lot of incapacities that is confronting them. But definitely they should begin to use their Section 15 of the law establishing them to begin to take people to court if they go against the principles of federal character. I was confronted in the office yesterday by some people. The National Universities Commission has given scholarship for people to study abroad, about 104 of them. There's no single person from a particular geopolitical zone in this country. No single person. All coming from one area. Now this is just like Madam said. These are little things about security that we don't care about. Once you are able to do that, to look at everything we do, then we'll be somewhere. And just like I said the other day, corruption will never stop as long as you have people who are doing their best for the organization, but who are not organized. So what they do is to get the best out of that organization for themselves, because they don't have Godfather. The moment we look at this and begin to brush over them, there will be a lot of problems for all of us. And you must remember, when you do this now, our children that will be taking over will also do the same to those who are coming behind them. So, and this will never end. So I want to refer you to the Constitution so that apart from what the Executive Chairman has said, you have all the rights to enforce this principle. You have all the rights. And if you look at Section 13 of Fundamental Objectives and Directive Principles of State Policy, it says, it shall be the duty and responsibility of all organs of government and of all authorities and persons exercising legislative, executive, and judicial powers to conform to, observe, and apply the provision of this chapter of this Constitution. And this is talking specifically about Section 14.3 and then 14.4 of the Constitution. So whatever you have, remember that the Federal Character Commission has been conferred with enormous powers to deal with the issue of distribution of positions and amenities. I am happy that there is a quality representation, and this alone will be able to give you all the encouragement to ensure that you don't look at yourselves as representing one ethnic group over the other ethnic group. Even in Ibadan, you have people who are from a particular local government area who are crying seriously that they have not been carried along. in your recruitment exercise, and so many other areas like that. So please, apply Section 14(4) of the Constitution as a guide for you to be able to satisfy the provisions of this particular section of the Constitution. I want to thank you very much for having time to be here and for the way you have shown me that you are going to actively participate in this workshop. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought I was supposed to be another special guest of honor. So, it is with these few remarks that I have the singular honor of declaring this workshop open.
You have had it, committee. Let's put our hands together once more. Thank you very much, the Senator. The Secretary to the Commission, Barrister Jude Rezo-Bogo,
because your willingness to partner with the Federal Character Commission. Chairman of the occasion, the distinguished Senator Dairo Arisu-Kota, who is also Chairman Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, Chairman Federal Character Commission, the Secretary Chairman, Professor Shaibu Oba, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I crave indulgence to stand on the existing protocol. Indeed, it is overwhelming. I want, on behalf of the Federal Character Commission, to appreciate all of you who have come from the agric sector of this economy and Nigeria in general. This is because we've had in the past, or we have had in the past, series of workshops. And the caliber, the class of attendance today is quite impressive. It shows your seriousness. And on the other side, I think that apart from being overwhelmed, you have shown us every sign of seriousness that we are taking a step in the right direction. The distinguished senator has told us the feelings, the perception, and indeed the facts about our very existence in Nigeria. Sometimes as a lawyer, I really wonder if we are really ready to be together. Because if you look at the laws, you would agree with me that there is enough to protect everybody here. Those of us here and the ones yet unborn. Our problem has been that of implementing these laws. It's very common for you to go to a ministerial department or agency, and from the nominal role, you can definitely tell where the chief executive is coming from. There's nothing that has disturbed the minds of the youth. And I'm sure most of you know that when you look forward and you don't see a future in your country, because there's not inclusiveness, that inclusiveness is missing. The only way we can have that is to know what is federal, what is state, and what is in the local community. If we have a federal structure like we have, we should be able to see the face of Nigeria, the character of Nigeria. Unfortunately for us, most of the time you look at the character, and when you ask, you're a federal character, how have you been managing the character of Nigeria? They do not mean the Federal Character Commission. They are looking at our unscrupulous nation. I am here to say welcome and to thank you for coming, and not to make speeches that my superiors have already. thank you very much and most sincerely, and pray that even as you have come in your numbers, it will reflect at the end of the day in the various organizations you lead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary to the Commission. We are almost in that category. We know the way we do in civil service. Why we give more attention to seniority in civil service is that they will leave so soon and the junior must become senior. If you are junior and you are struggling to take something that belongs to senior that is already planning to leave, it's not fair now. So that is why we do that, seniority, because they're almost getting out of the place to create chance for you to go. So that is why we all observe seniority. Thank you very much. I think we can now stand for the national anthem.
Shall never be in vain. To serve with a mind, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Thank you very much.
Not the purpose ties, chief executives, agricultural institutions, about the needs of further capitalism, equity, fairness, and distribution of posts in the various institutions. We've had challenges in this area for quite some time. I think this cabinet will go a long way, not only to sensitize people to live up to the responsibilities, but also to observe those ways of life that will promote responsibility.
So how far is the second mandate?
Thank you very much. The second mandate is quite alive. We are moving very fast into it. The committees that have done to undertake data collection analysis are working at it. We are also visiting institutions, and I believe that in the next few months we will have a template properly which will enable us to monitor, assess, and actually enforce compliance with the federal government, basically in the areas of equitable distribution of the construction facilities and socio-economic communities.
That is why we have invited all the MPs and parastatals under the agric committee to come so that they will be sensitized as to how they should go about their recruitment exercises. Because in the past, most people do not exactly understand what federal character is. But through these workshops and sensitization workshops, they get to know that this is their responsibility and this is what they need to do so that their recruitment process will be spread around the country, not just within the area where the institution is being placed. That is why they have come here, and we have all along been talking to them, but today is on a broader note where each one of them will come together to at least have a more deeper knowledge as to the workings of the Federal Character Commission.
Now, talking about ensuring the implementation after the workshop, is there any committee that is held with the responsibility of going around?
Yeah, we have a monitoring squad that goes round to monitor all the activities of these MDAs. Sometimes they are not aware that we have a monitoring squad that goes round, and sometimes they are surprised when we call them that on this day you did this, They are surprised, but we have the monitoring squad that once we have hear that there is something wrong in an MDA, the monitoring squad gets there immediately and intervene not to escalate any problem in that MDA and in the country.
And so far, how will you accept their complaints?
No, they have tried. Most of them are really, because of the understanding they have about the federal character workings, they are really now coming on board to at least make their recruitment process a more wider one than when they never knew what the federal character was all about.
So how many MDAs are here today?
We have almost 30 MDAs. We invited 31 or 30, we are 34. But you can see the outcome is so impressive. There are almost more than 31. You're welcome. Thank you.
Same equitable distribution at the state level. Then the second mandate from that section 14.3, talking about the conduct of affairs of these MDAs in the public service. Conduct of affairs. That one is talking about distribution of socio-economic amenities. Distribution of those and conduct of affairs. So from that particular section, Federal Character Commission is mandated to ensure equitable distribution of posts and equitable distribution of socio-economic amenities. And in order to actualize this, the act that established the Federal Character Commission gave it a number of functions and powers. Functions and powers are used interchangeably. One is to promote, to monitor, and to enforce. Another one is to take such legal measures, including the prosecution of persons or the head of establishment of the courts. Another one is to formulate guidelines for you as MDAs to follow. Another one is to demand and receive returns. What we mean by returns here is nominal roles or what you do in terms of your socio-economic amenities. Another one is to institute investigation. Another one is to intervene in the conduct of the affairs of MDAs. Another one is to even take up the recruitment exercises of MDAs if it is found desirable. So I have decided to mention those ones because they will be key to our discussions here. To make sure that you MDAs comply, we formulated procedures and guidelines for you to follow. We are going to talk about that the other day in a moment. Then also we formulated the guiding principle. And this guiding principle can be summarized in 3 sentences. That is, unit of distribution at the federal level. The unit of this representation is the state. So when you are distributing at the federal level, you'll be talking of state A, state B, state C. And it's saying that in any federal establishment, no state should constitute less than 2.5% of the staff of that MDA. And no state should constitute more than 3%. For instance, in an MDA, if a state is constituting above that 3%, we are not telling you to go and send them away. But there will be attrition, there will be resignation, there will be retirement, and so on and so forth. So, by the time you want to replace these people, you have to source candidates from those states that are either not represented or underrepresented. We are not saying you should go and fire them. Also, we have I've talked about the guide. Then at the state level, the unit of representation is the local government. So when you are talking of Abia State, I think I was saying Abia the other time. So by divine, Abia is here too to give me support. So in Abia, we'll be talking about local government A, local government B, local government C. Then at the local government level, the unit of representation is the wards. Also, each of these states has their quota of representation depending on the number of local government areas in a particular state. The higher the number of local governments, then the lower the range of representation. For instance, in Kano, no state should constitute less than 1%, and no local government should constitute less than 1% and not more than 2%. In Ekiti, for instance, no local government should constitute less than 6% or a maximum of 7 or 8%. So the unit of representation at the state level is the local government, depending on the number of local government areas in each of the states. Then in the guiding principle too, we have the zonal representation depending on the number that is being shared or that is being distributed. If you have 6, for instance, each of the zones should be represented. If it is 2 on north and south basis. For instance, the distribution of your principal officers is based on departments. If you have 6 departments, each of the zones should be represented. And also, if there are many, when you are considering the zones, for instance, a southwest zone, if you are giving 12, for instance, to southwest zone, you don't concentrate it in a particular state within that zone. So there should be equitable representation even within that particular zone. Now, we are talking about recruitment and distribution of socio-economic amenities. We have talked about giving you guidelines. We have talked about giving you the formula. Not less than 2%, not less than 2.5%, not more than 3%. Then on zonal representation, no zone should constitute less than 15% and not more than 18%. But with the exception of North Central and Northwest, whereby a particular zone, the range is lower than that of states that have, say, about 5 states or 6 states, as the case may be. Now, the guidelines for recruitment into the public service. But you are the head of the MBA, you know what you want. If it is 5 staff you want to recruit, this is based on your manpower planning at the end of the year, based on what you have as your resources. So what you have to do first is your manpower planning. Then 2, you want to recruit 7, you want to recruit 20, you want to recruit 100. You have to advertise in 2 national dailies, not This Day and Daily Trust. What we are saying here is that one that is widely read in the south and the other that is widely read in the north, giving adequate notice of 6 weeks. Why are we saying 6 weeks? Because there are certain parts of this country, if the paper of today, they may be reading it, say, in 2 weeks' time. But before the expiration of that 6 weeks, information will have gone around to say, okay, there's recruitment elsewhere. Also, at the expiration of that 6 weeks, you will compile both the long list and the short list. Some people have been asking, what happened there to the long list? What about the long list? It's to help you and to help your organization. For instance, issues might arise at the end of the recruitment exercise. So people will just stand up and say, write petition, my zone, my state is not represented. At the end of the day, when you look at the long list, if people from there applied, we look at it. If they don't meet your criteria, you don't shortlist them. If they meet your criteria, they are not shortlisted, you want to know why they were not shortlisted. But if they do not meet your criteria, if they are not shortlisted, we cannot say because of federal character, you should consider them. No. At the end, also, you do your aptitude test or your oral test, as the case may be, and compile the results. Here we have to talk something a little briefly about this. By the time you compile your result, you have your benchmark. Say, whoever scores 60 marks and above is qualified to take this position. So be it. When you now compile your results, you now pick or you make your selection in conjunction with the appropriate committee of the Federal Character Commission. And this distribution is going to be done based on your existing workforce. And that is why we request for nominal roles. It must have been analyzed to establish those states that are either underrepresented, overrepresented, or not represented at all. If, for instance, in a Ekiti state, in a particular MDA, the representation is 4%, and when you compile the result, the person who came first or second happens to come from Ekiti State with 80. Then we have somebody from Yobe State who has scored say 65 and your best mark is 60. And the representation of Yobe State in that organization is about 1%. That person from Yobe State stands a better chance of being taken than that person from Ekiti State. For instance, if the person from Yobe State now scores say 40%, and there is no Yobe that scores above that 60%, we cannot say because of federal character, go and take that person below your benchmark. That is why your record is there. When questions are asked, see the distribution. Some people will say, when we advertise, we don't find people from that area. That is why you have the relevant committee of the Federal Character Commission. Let me give you an example of an organization in Kaduna. We're saying, I can't find this field in Yobe, I can't find the Safara. Discuss with the appropriate committee of the Federal Character Commission. By the end of the day, he got more than what he wanted. So there's no part of this country where you cannot get the relevant field you want. It's only a question of searching. Now, at the end of the day, by the time you now compile and you do your selection in conjunction with the appropriate committee of the commission, you now send your report and ask for a certificate of compliance for further verification. We want to see whether the rule of the game has been followed. We want to see whether the distribution has adequately taken care of some lopsidedness in your distribution. It's only for that exercise, not for any other one. For instance, if you recruited 100, and at the end of the day, some people may not take up the job. They will have gone to some other MDAs or whatever. You don't say because they have not reported, you now say you want to replace. Replacement is recruitment. When you want to replace those people, you have to come back to Federal Character Commission to say, okay, 10 people with their names and their state of origin have not reported. You don't sit down in the comfort of your office and say you want to replace it yourself. Because the tendency is that you will go to your village or to your local government or what, to go and replace them from there. Right. So when you come to the appropriate committee of the Federal Character Commission, they will assist you on how to replace them. Also, like I said, when I say replacement is recruitment that are looking for jobs. They give all this information effortlessly. Just this morning, somebody called to say an MDA, even under agric, was recruiting. So you cannot do it under any cover. Who will know? It is an offense under the Federal Character Commission law. Now, appointment of chief executives. Well, this may not be so relevant to agri sector, but to those that are colleges and institutes. In some instances, you will see the head of an institute from Kano. The registrar is from Kano. The bossa is from Kano. The librarian is from Kano. This is against federal character principle. That is the appointment of chief executive. A question was asked sometimes that, okay, if you want to recruit a registrar, for instance, and those on ground are from a particular zone, and then you apply and you advertise, and you still see that only people from that zone responded to the advert, what do you do? It's very simple. You have to go and re-advertise. Yes, you don't say because people from other areas did not respond, depending on the mode of advertisement. That is why you have to be very close to the Committee on Agriculture of the Federal Character Commission. So there's no way by which you will. I have said it, I can't take 15 minutes.
Exactly.
5 minutes more. 5 minutes. Okay, 5 more minutes, 1 minute.
I need protection.
Yes, you are protected.
So, now as I was saying, you have to re-advertise because the organization is already localized. And also, for instance, some people will say, okay, you want to appoint the head of an organization. The state of origin or the zone of the head of the organization, the appointment of the head, the zone is not dependent on those on ground because you want the best. at times you search, you do search panel. But by the time you take the head, you appoint the head. If you want to appoint other principal officers, you have to take into cognizance the zone and the state of origin of the head. So that is about that. What are our implementation strategies? Why do we ask for the nominal role? I have talked about that. This is to guide us, to analyze, and to make sure that those that are underrepresented are taken care of, and also protecting the interests of those that are overrepresented. Interactive meetings at workshops like this. New developments about the application of federal character principle concept is a way of rubbing mind. Like we are going to do during the questioning session, you will ask questions. I know some people want to say federal character is undermining merit. I have told you, by the time you do all this selection process, the possibility of taking an unqualified candidate is almost reduced. Also, we attend recruitment exercises as observers. If you sit down there and do it on your own, at the end of the day, you send your results to your ministry, there may be petitions. That is why we say Federal Character Commission is there to observe your recruitment exercise. Intervention, I have talked about that we can even take over the recruitment in your MDA if the rule of the games are not being followed. Also, we summon. We discuss with you, we write to you, you respond to us, or you refuse to respond to us at the end of the day. If you have violated consistently, we summon you, and at the end of the day, it may end up in prosecution. We have talked about second mandate. We may not be talking much about that for now, because we are in the process of doing that. But this second mandate is very, very relevant to the agric sector. That is in the area of socio-economic amenities. Also, we have seen instances whereby candidates that go for recruitment exercise, they will be there, or some may not even apply because they say no, they have done it. But Federal Character Commission has created a new norm. Chief executives now are more than ever before conversant with the fact that they have to follow normal process. Let me give you an example. Somebody somewhere gave an MDA a fiat to go and recruit 250. Yes, it was done from above. At the end of the day, the chief executive was in trouble. He said, no, a committee that have been given approval to go and recruit. Yes, because of the caliber of the instruction, we say, okay, we are so much interested. Okay, this person has violated federal character. Yes, I gave them permission to go and recruit, but I have not told them not to follow your process. So, those of you that will say, no, I got the fiat from either the presidency or whatever, they have not told you not to follow due process. For instance, if you see the waiver you receive from the head of service, the last paragraph of such waivers, please ensure you follow extant circular, particularly the principle of federal character is there. We have hard copies of them. So don't say because you have been given the fiat to go and do that, you are only doing that at your peril if you violate. Over the years, we have challenges. You are our challenges. Some of you go and recruit without advertisement, which is against federal character principle. Agreed that in May, there is no budget. You want to recruit, you cannot advertise. Depending on the number, you come to the Federal Character Commission. They will be able to give you a leeway. But because you say you have no money, you cannot go there and do it on your own. Federal Character Commission will have a reason for granting you that waiver, not to go the whole hog. But if you do it on your own, it is an offense. Refusing to submit your long list and short list. I have met one or two people either in agric facing each other in EFCC about this long list and short list, about recruitment exercise. So, if you follow due process, if anything comes up thereafter, federal character will be there to defend you if they are involved, or to go and marry you if we don't know anything about it. Also, refusal to declare vacancies is an offense. We write to you, you don't respond, it's an offense. Because there are certain words that are used in the act any MDA that refuses, that fails, that neglects. Those are simple words that are very weighty. And also the offense under Federal Character Commission Act is a criminal offense. If you offend, you cannot tell your lawyer to go and stand in for you. You will be there in the dock. Put your hands at the back. It's a criminal offense. So this one I want you to know very properly. Ladies and gentlemen, days are gone when you can just sit down in the comfort of your offices and recruit with impunity. So at the end of the day, we'll be listening to questions. Thank you.
He has done obviously well, isn't it? Show it again. I think you are right by people in the Federal Character Commission didn't just come together to start doing the work they are doing, that they are empowered by a section of the Constitution, section 14.3 and section 14.4, which he quoted. Under that piece of legislation, he told us exactly what the functions are, functions of the Federal Character Commission.
Of the Commission, like promote, monitor, and enforce compliance with the principles of the Federal Character. Then he spoke about the prosecution, that the Commission has power to prosecute chief executives who does not follow the laid down principles of the Federal Character. Then he spoke about the distribution, 2.5% to 3%. That will say that state is adequately represented. Then the guidelines, he spoke about the guidelines when you want to recruit. You advertise in one paper widely read in the north and another paper widely read in the south. And you give a minimum of 6 weeks so that people can get in touch with the papers. Then he said the Federal Character Commission do not formulate your criteria for you. If you want to say your benchmark is 70%, that is left for you. But the Federal Character will be there to make you obey your own set rules. If you say 70%, it should be 70%.
We will add 1 or 2 areas just to dot the I's and cross the T's. I want to invite our attention to the fact that the topic is apt, and therefore what is the import of the topic? He has told us all that we are supposed to know about federal character in terms of recruitment, in terms of distribution of infrastructure facilities and economic amenities. What is the import? Federal character principle and national integration. For us to probably understand this better is to go back to the genesis for why federal character was set up in the first instance. The drafters of the law, what do they have in mind to achieve? Can we actually use federal character to achieve national integration? Of course, yes. In the Constitution, it is said that we should use federal character to achieve national unity, which is the integration, and command loyalty. We are told in the history of federal character that the federal character itself predates independence. In the era when certain sections of the country were agitated, were complaining of marginalization, especially the recruitment to certain sectors of the service, like particularly the armed forces and the police. And so the issue of quota system came about so that everybody will have a sense of belonging that I am part of Nigeria. And so the quota system came up. But did it actually address the issue? It didn't. It went on to 1979 Constitution. Federal character was enshrined. But it was basically no commission was established to enforce the principle. Because at that time it was not justiciable. So when the federal government felt to become an integral part, an important part to bring about national integration and command loyalty, it now brought a commission to enforce it, so that failure to comply with it, you cannot be taken to court. His speech at the opening ceremony cited Universities Commission gave scholarship of 104 and a whole joking about this is what the import of this paper. Now, if that how do we achieve that? If we now apply the principle of federal character, that outcry will not be there. This is what the paper is talking about. Research Institute in Zaria, and you have some east, northeast, northwest, north central there. Definitely every plan interest. But federal character principle
exceeding the time.